Ishida, you cannot keep doing this to me. You cannot utterly slay me every single chapter, man. Like, week after week after week, I'm getting wrecked and wrecked and wrecked. It's hype, it's insanity, it's just straight god sauce. The depth, the artwork, the fucking progression. What the fuck is happening? There's no more chill. There is just no chill. The series hasn't had any chill for the longest, man. These last 2 pages, fucking, oh my god, we gotta go, but I need a second. I need some breathing room. That's what I need. Remember like chapter 30.5 or 31.5 or something like that, where we had that little side chapter post-auction. This Christmas, New Year's vibes, got the family ambiance, Papa Arima rolling through to the spot, and Arima in this chapter with a suit game, yo. Clean, making Kanae look like a joke out here, but I digress. That chapter was chill. I'm going to need something along those lines, Ishida, post this arc, for sure, because the events I foresee unfolding right now, I'm not even ready. I'm not even fucking, let's go, dude, page by page, panel by panel. I need to start right here. Let's just fucking go. Kanae, if you want to be treasured by people, just take away what matters most to that person, dude. The manipulation. She's utterly broken him, and what ETO is doing right now is replanting, rebuilding this character and molding him in her image. Straight God mode after the fucking symbolism with the Garden of Eden, that last chapter. Yo, I'll share a bone with you. Don't worry, you'll be loved this time. You'll see. Just look at yourself. You look so sweet and cute. This fucking last page, to look at the man. You all know how I feel about Kanae. Right now, the feels for Kanae, they abound. I can't even hate on the man in the slightest. His eyes have been plucked from the sockets. She stitched them open, blood pouring from the empty sockets, pried the man's teeth from his mouth, stitched that shit up. Let's go back to the previous page, okay? Do you understand the depths of this torture right now? And this is Tokyo motherfucking Ghoul, okay? We've seen some legit, fucking Jason, okay? We've seen legit torture. What Kijima did to Alisa last chapter, that was some fiend mode. But ETO, this right here, her Kagane is lodged in the man's back. He's utterly broken. She has mad clocks dispersed around this weird-ass hypnotic room with these spirals lining the walls and whatnot. She just posted up on the stool, having a blast with it with her reading next to her. Okay? The man is utterly broken. Yo, which I can already see how she's going to use what she's created going forward. And this, a dethroned rose, where will its roots reach? Let me stick with Kanae for a second before I go back to ETO, because there's some things I need to talk about with ETO, and then we have to dive into the chapter as a whole, because everything kind of is unfolding the way I predicted the last chapter, but the Heisei and Akira scene especially is something I really want to spend some time talking about. And then, of course, TSUKIYAMA family, because shit's going in, dude. I called it. I fucking called it. But let's go back to this sexy-ass fucking color page that we got this week, that I had to, honestly, I was going to go with the last page for thumb, but I had to use this. I had to, dude, because the symbolism in it is incredible. You see the roses, just this bloody kind of rose petals pouring from the man's mouth in this twisted, contorted position. O rose, die nobly, in order to model after your master. Fucking hell. And I have to talk about the jail PV at the end of this video as well, so stick around for that for sure. But I digress. This dialogue on the first page and the way it connects to the final pages, the symbolism, the depth to it, and what it means for Kanae's character, the feels I get from it, dude. You all know, I call this man fuckboy Kanae. I can't even hate on him in the slides right now. I actually feel legit bad for the man. Let's look at what Ishida crafted here. I'm not going to read, you know, the German, although it's beast that it's written that way in the first place, alright? Cascade rain, cascade down. Wait for me those dreams again that I dreamed in childhood, when water foamed on the sand, and you see a young Kanae kind of skipping through the puddles of the rain. You see the silhouette of Shuu kind of lurking in front of him. When oppressive summer heat contended idly with cool freshness, and shiny leaves dripped with dew, and crops turned a darker blue. Cascade rain, cascade down. You see the two eyeballs. Listen, when I was reading this page before I got to the final pages, I was like, yo, I thought we were gonna see some fucked up shit right then. I was like, it just utterly switched, tone shift. We go into CCG stuff, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck was that? I need it back. You hear these wails. He's crying out in agony. You see the mouth shot. He's like, Mom, Mom, Mom. Master Shuu, the ruthless falling raindrops offer no consolation, dude. The dialogue, Ishida just blows me away time and time again, alright? We're gonna get back to the Eto stuff, actually, but I want to finish up my thoughts on Eto. So I think I'm gonna do that now. We're gonna go back to the final pages right now, because this torture, like, no lie, fucking Yamori, what he did to Kaneki, the level of that torture was insane, okay? Kijima, like I said, what he did to Alisa at the end of last chapter, the fiend that I know he is top tier. But Eto is making them look like fucking jokes out here right now, dude. Like, I take back anything I said about Naki being the one to, you know, taking up Jason's mantle and being the one to torture Sato. It was definitely a battery of Eto and Totara just going in on fucking Sato, dude. Straight up. It's probably Eto's idea to feed him his family. Sure. This sadistic level and the way she's enjoying it. And on top of that, the beauty she sees in this creation that she's building up from having broken him, dude. It takes me back. You guys remember, I believe it was chapter 39. Chapter 39. Let me grab this real quick. There's chapter 39. I know it's in the middle somewhere right here. Hold up. Page 12. It's when, you know, Shuu and Sasaki are having one of their first conversations. And they're delving into, you know, Takatsuki. And he's talking about how he feels about Takatsuki now. And these are the words that Sasaki says. Behind the skilled expressions and sophisticated writing style, unidentifiable sorrow, anger, emptiness, dark emotions show through. Maybe she succumbed to despair and has no hope for anyone. I think that's why she just wants to destroy everything. Now, these words for me provide a great deal of insight into Eto's mindset, and it's something that I latched onto heavily when I read this chapter. But in terms of her mode of operation right now, her endgame and what she's trying to do with Kanae, and even more so, the beauty that she sees in this broken man that she has in front of her, dude. It almost reminds me of Isaiah, in a way, straight up, if you're familiar with Durara. It almost reminds me of Isaiah. She kind of has this warped love, this dual-sided love, and even stronger hatred because her love is so strong of both ghouls and humanity, dude. I think they intrigue her to no end, and to see this creation, and I already know what she's going to do with the man, dude. I already know how she's going to have it done, especially with these words. If you want to be treasured by people, just take away what matters most to them. She's definitely breaking him down, manipulating him, making him completely subservient to her, and going to manipulate his emotions in his strong sense of loyalty and love for Shuu in order to sick the man like a dog against Kaneki. To go in against Sasaki and fuck with whatever endgame she has, whether she's using, you know, whether she's using Kanae as a sacrificial pawn, whether she has other alternate modes. And I honestly want to say that I foresee the rematch between Kanae and Urie, but I know that Eto's trying to toy and get to Kaneki through Kanae at some level, simply because she's manipulating his strong love for Shuu and his hatred for Kaneki in order to do this. So that's what the last pages, dude, just seeing this torture method, seeing what's become of fucking Kanae after Eto has taken, you know, possession of him almost. This kind of the words, I will become your god, ringing in my ears, dude. It's like she's found herself a puppy, and she fucked it up so it's loyal to nobody else but her, dude. And she'll sick this fucking raving dog on anybody that crosses her path, dude. And as if she doesn't have enough of those, but fuck it. This scene, if anything, it should make you see the darkness in Eto, but for me, it makes me love Eto all the more, dude, and depth to her character. But Now that I've talked about that enough, let's dive into the rest of the chapter. Because there's only really, I think the rest of the chapter review isn't going to be that long, honestly, because there's only really so many things I need to talk about, so many scenes in particular that I want to dive into. So, chapter opens up, you have Haru and Koori talking about, what Kishima's uncovered with the Tsukiyama family. And I called it last week, I was like, yo, Tsukiyama family is fucked now. Now that Alex has spilled everything, and everything's been brought to broad daylight, and that's the thing. Ever since, we knew about the Tsukiyama family having this large Zaibatsu, having a great amount of control within, fucking Tokyo, and within the wards to begin with. And as a result of that, we knew that they had this pull in the human sphere of things. Nobody knew that Mirumo was actually a ghoul, dude. And now that shit's blowing up. And of course the man was ready. I'm so grateful. We'll get there. I'm so fucking grateful. Because I said it. Either Chie or Mirumo need to do something to save my boy Shuu from the death flags that are encroaching, because Tsukiyama family is fucked. Alright, but anyway, I digress. Kishima's looking for some praise and whatnot. He's over in the background. He's like, we didn't overlook a single blunder in 100 years. That's how it is. This time, we clearly have the credit. Of course, like, do you want to be praised that much? Yo, the man's trolling is top level. Oh, the joy of being praised never gets old. Even all the more for someone like me. Or if it's a compliment from one of my superiors. Dude, it's the troll that is fucking Kishima. The fiend that is Kishima. And the only thing that I'm questioning right now in terms of, the theory that I have with his ties to V. The only thing that I'm questioning is if he really has those ties to V, unless if he's such a heavy insurgent that he has to completely, he has no ready contact with them. And I don't see him being one of the higher ups in V either. I see him, even if he's not, a ghoul and he's just a human being, which... for him to be a fucking investigator to begin with, unless he can skirt RC detection like ETO on some crazy shit. I don't know how it was possible. I definitely think he's a human, but I do think he's in league and being manipulated by V in some capacity and is allied with them. If not, I don't even know. He's still just a fucking grade A fiend, and if that's not the case, if there's no endgame with him being tied to V, then he just needs to he needs to get that retribution at some point. But he's a fucking fiend. He goes in, he's fucking fiend. That's all I can say. I can't hate on him, but ultimately, the only thing I'm questioning right now as far as him is the fact that he had to torture Aliasa to get all this information in the first place. V definitely knows about the Tsukiyama family. V definitely knew that Mirumo was a ghoul. So he would have known this and had this information if he was readily in contact with them. Same thing with Donato. And I also speculate that Kishima was one of Donato's connections, and that's how he's getting a shit ton of information while he's locked up in Cochlea. But if he's in communication with Donato, I'm sure Donato knows that information and could have told him. So I don't know right now. It's up in the air, but I still want to maintain the theories concerning Kishima. But that's not it. Just seeing him troll and want this kind of praise for it is amazing, right? And then we get this whole dialogue between Koori and the boss himself, Tsunayoshi WASHUU, fucking Elder WASHUU. Man, I haven't seen this man in a minute, dude. But he's basically like, we have to contain the truth from spreading to the public sector. People are gonna freak out if they find out a ghoul is behind one of the biggest Zaibatsus in this fucking country. And he's like, we're gonna have everybody that's, on the top tier of the Tsukiyama, of the company, all the parent company affiliates, they need to take these RC tests, etc., etc., etc. We're going to exterminate the Tsukiyama family. Just straight up. I appoint you, Koori, to exterminate the Tsukiyama family. It's going in right now. It's fucking serious. When you see that fucking facial shot of Elder WASHUU, you know shit is about to get real. You know shit is going in. And this is the culmination of this arc. Tsukiyama family, through Rose, ultimately becomes the main target. And this is something with this arc being centered around Shuu and the Tsukiyama family, like I said from the beginning, I ultimately saw the progression leading to this point. But readily after last episode, when Elisa gave up everything, I was like, yo, it's happening. It's fucking happening. They need to get the fuck out. Then you see the weasel himself, man, young WASHUU. And you already know I don't remember the young WASHUU's name, dude. It's only Yoshitoki and Tsunayoshi that I remember their fucking names. I don't give a fuck about what young Shuu's name is. He's just a fiend, dude. That special class promotion doesn't... He's like Elder Uri in my eyes, dude. Except I'm starting to vibe with my boy Uri. I'm not gonna lie. Even though he's still kind of a fuckboy, I'm starting to vibe with the man, alright? I'm not gonna lie. But you see him just waiting in the wings. He's like, yo, S2 is gonna provide support. And I love fucking KOORI'S reaction. What a sly hyena hungering for credit, dude. And you see them going through the pleasantries. This man's like a brat from the Arima devotees, dude. I'm just like, yo, the power plays within the CCG is disgusting. Dude, you have time for this right now. But I digress. Let's move on. Then we cut over to the Q squad. Sasaki's basically outlining the operation, how they're going to have shit set up, and it's having the Qs on scene with this operation. I wonder how that's going to affect Heisei, you know, especially how fragile his mindset is right now. I wonder if there's going to be any clues or breadcrumbs around there that will trigger anything, or if any incident, anybody being around there. I know Shuu's not going to be readily on site, and there's another problem I foresee with that arising, but we'll get there in a second, right? So then he has the breakdown of how basically the squad is going to function. You have Shirazu in the rear, Psycho in the center, providing these heavy fucking attacks. And hopefully I finally get to see Psycho. I want to see my main girl go in like that, dude. I want to see her go in. Alright? And then you have Urei and Mitsuki in the vanguard. And it's a nice plan. It's a nice line, I'm not going to lie. But you're not the only ones on scene, man. I wonder how many people are readily going to be in the Tsukiyama mansion that you need such a presence and a force. But I mean, I'm predicting Mirumo's going to be a fucking monster. I feel these kinds of, you know, I don't even know how to put it, dude. Mirumo just strikes me as somebody that's going to be a monster. But we'll see how it goes, alright? Then you have Fuckboy Ray's like, yo, Vanguard, support the center. Sasaki must also be assessing what I'm worth. Next time I will no doubt surpass Kuroiwa. The man's just, it's changed from credit, promotions to he has Bujin in his sights. Bujin's breaking necks, I gotta break necks. That's all he cares about right now, dude. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy, dude. But Mitsuki's like, yo, I'm kind of anxious about this. Psycho's like, I'll protect you, Mitsuko. I love you. I'm just, if anything happens to you, if you get captured, I'm going to rage, dude. I'm going to fucking rage. And then Sasaki notices that something's off about Shirazu. He admits that he still can't use Nutcracker and he wants to be stronger. He doesn't want to hold them back after his resolve. The man shaved his hair for this, alright? He's resolved. He's ready to go. He asks Sasaki to help him master his Kagane at the very least. If he can't use his Quinky, at least he can go, you know, full all-in with his Kagane. And what Urei said to him, you know, last chapter, or a couple chapters ago, must have really resonated with him in the fact that he's like, yo, the mortality rate with having an Ukaku user on the team, you're quintessential to the Q squad. We need you to be on point. He was just trying to destabilize the man and fuck with his mentality, but it backfired. And now Shirazu's resolve is stronger than ever. So hopefully I get to see my boy go in. Maybe he conquers his anxiety about, you know, the whole tie between Nutcracker and his sister and is able to wield the Quinky. But I digress. Then we get this scene, you know, Corey's putting together the finishing touches on the operation. And my boy Papa Arima rise, dude. The god himself with the suit game looking pristine. Straight away, what is with these suits right now? What is with the... Yo, Ishida, man, just going in with these suits, man. This man is on that KANOU swag right now. I'm just like, yo, look at the fitted suit. The man is clean. Look at that pattern. But I digress. Here's the thing, though. The thing I love about this scene is seeing the more kind of laid-back side of Koori, because Koori is somebody I'm really, out of everyone that's been really introduced and, you know, kind of the newer focus of this arc, Koori is the one I'm most interested in. Haru as well, because Haru's fucking sexy. Haru is a goddess, dude. But I want to know about this man's mentality, and I've been trying to read into it at every subtle panel I can. But seeing him kind of laughing, laid back, kind of, you know, joking around with Arima, he's like, don't get too restless. And he's like, says the one that lets me do whatever I want all the time. And you see these kinds of, this shared exchange and the smirk between them, dude. And he actually admits it in his mind. He's like, after being promoted, I can only relax when I'm in front of my former boss. Just to see that more laid-back side of Koori was perfect at this stage. And Arima's only there for a page, but, you know, we see him in a couple seconds anyway in the flashback, so it's all good. And this is the scene that I really want to wrap up the video with and spend the most time on, because honestly, if it weren't for this scene and the last 2 pages, I was thinking this review was going to be mad short, because it was simply talking about what I knew, the dawn, you know, the eve before we see the fucking raid on the Tsukiyama mansion. And I knew it was going to happen, so it was nothing crazy to me. It was just seeing how they're trying to purge the entirety of them, the whole thing with the Zaidon and with the Zaibatsu and everything like that is beast. But here's the scene I really want to focus on, alright? Akira approaches Sasaki as he's in the library, still trying to find any info he can about himself, about Amon, whatever. Clearly that's what the man is doing. He's not doing shit for the operation and whatnot, right? Just looking through for some old documents is what he tells, right? Speaking of which, weren't you stationed in the 20th War in the past? There's something I want to ask you. And Akira keenly just proceeds. Is it about Amon Kotaro? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, what's going on? The atmosphere suddenly changed. He was my coworker, who later died in the owl suppression operation. Other than that, what else do you want to know? About the eye patch Ghoul. There's no need for you to know, is what Akira tells him. It'd be best if you go back to your preparations. You need to train. Why don't I need to know? It has something to do with me, doesn't it? I won't repeat myself again, dude. This outburst. Why are you hiding it from me, dude? He can no longer contain these emotions that have been building up. His mental state is so fragile at this moment as he's resolved to try and find his past and find out about himself, because he realizes he can't avoid it anymore. And these conflicting emotions and all these things that are spiraling inside of the man's head are bubbling to the surface right now, dude. He's mad volatile right now, and it's on the cusp of breaking. I believe that either with this arc ending, and it's been foreshadowed at the beginning of this arc, but either with the ending of this arc or the beginning of next arc, around chapter 50s, 60s, I believe we're going to see the return of Kaneki. If not the return of Kaneki, and that's where I really think things are going most definitely, especially with the breadth of foreshadowing that we've gotten throughout this arc. But I still want to believe in the coalescing of the persona, or Sasaki not being fully overwritten and being able to return in some capacity, simply because as an individual and as a separate persona, he's really grown on me, and I really feel for this character. Yes, Kaneki is my fucking favorite character. Kaneki's love. Like, Kaneki is all I really need, but I don't want to completely lose Sasaki. But anyway, I digress, right? The man just utterly breaks down to the point where he's like, he just wants to know everything right now. He's like, is it because I'm the eye patch Ghoul? Is it because I was the one who killed Amon Kotaro? The fear of waking up and knowing nothing. Do you know what that's like? How can I only cling on to what's given to me? How I don't even know my own parents? Where did I even come from? Who am I? And she's like, Heisei, calm down, Heisei. I'm not Heisei, dude. Yo. The man says it himself. He's trying. It's so fucking heartbreaking to watch this, dude. And then we get this flashback, which utterly confuses the shit out of me. All right, let's look at this flashback. All right, because this just shows me that God Arima is just a god on every single capacity. I don't understand how he Analysis shows he's very intelligent with great memory capabilities. Worth mentioning is the area of the brain responsible for empathy is very developed. We can assume his learning abilities are also superb. Now, that's all well and good. That panel, you can find that shit out. You can easily find that shit out through medical practice. You don't need you don't need to interact with the individual to learn these things. It's all cut and dry, types of practices. The next lines that he utters, though, I'm like, how did he perceive, how did he surmise this information? How does he know these things? Internally, he lacks assertiveness, and his introverted nature makes him antisocial, and most of all, he craves a motherly figure. And so we concluded that an outstanding female investigator is most suited to be his mentor. Here's the thing right now. This meeting occurred shortly after, the events that unfolded in part 1. As far as I'm concerned, this is 3 years in the past before we got into the time skip actually unfolding. You can see that by the way Akira looks in these fucking panels and her hair and everything like that. Shortly after, Arima only met Kaneki when he fucking incapacitated and pierced Ixa through his skull to begin with. You're telling me that he learned all of that in that brief interaction? I mean, yes, when you go back and look at I've read those chapters so many times, and when you read those chapters, you see this kind of, almost, this sense of unease in Arima and this kind of pity for Kaneki as he slays him and as he puts him down. I don't know, does Ixa have the ability to, give you readings of people's mind if you lodge it in their brain or some shit? What the fuck? How does he know he lacks assertiveness and his introverted nature makes him antisocial and that he craves a motherly figure? I guess he could have been observing the post, the amnesiac Sasaki post the events as he was recovering and got this information from conversing with him, but I don't know, man. I don't even know. The fucking insight just got Arima. That's all I can say is fucking got Arima. But it's neither here nor there. What concerns me the most, and what I really want to talk about, is this moment right here. She embraces him. Akira grabs him, and she says, "You are yourself." names are, and I believe she's going to say irrelevant, unnecessary, whatever you want to say. Names don't matter. You are who you are. And here's the thing. Some people might be asking themselves right now, and some people might have asked themselves for a while, how does Akira truly feel about Sasaki? It's a valid question, especially since she's fully aware that the one who is supposed to... we know Amon's alive, and I believe deep down she believes Amon is alive as well, especially with the way she called out Psycho a little while ago, but ultimately, we know that she had the feels for Amon. We know that Akira loved Amon, okay? And for all intents and purposes, from what they know, Kaneki was the one that killed Amon. So there must be, you would think there's some sort of hatred or animosity buried deep inside her towards Sasaki on some level. And with that dialogue between her and this flashback with her and Arima, where it's like, yo, special class Arima, she's like, we've concluded that an outstanding female investigator is most suited to be his mentor. We need you, right? And it almost makes it feel in person like she's only treating him as and being this motherly figure to him because that was a direct order, right? That's not the case. I don't care what anybody wants to say. If she was merely if she bared any sort of ill will, and maybe she did at first, I believe over the course of these 3 years, she's genuinely come to care for Sasaki like she would if it was like a little brother to her. Just straight up, she loves this kid. She really cares for him. And if she was wholeheartedly just trying to manipulate him, pretend to be this mother figure, and she still bared any sort of hatred towards him, and she was just trying to do her job, she would have said, you are Heisei. Or she would have tried to reinforce this new persona that they've placed on top of him and kept him in the shadows and everything like that. I don't know if she's going to assist him in his pursuit at this stage right now. I don't know what's going to resolve, but all I know is that this scene shows me 100% that the bond between Akira and Sasaki is real and it's not just straight bullshit. And to see that in the one page, for it to be destabilized in one page and then reconfirmed and reassert that it's actually genuine is fucking awesome to me. So I really like this page in particular out of this chapter, and seeing just the volatile state of Sasaki's mind right now is crucial because it just showcases that we're on the cusp of the breakdown and of the reemergence of the Kaneki persona and potentially even the Centipede persona if we get there. But I digress. That was a beautiful scene. Now, the final fucking scene. This is why I'm so happy right now. This is the only reason I'm happy, because TSUKIYAMA family is fucked. I don't care what anybody wants to say. And yes, Master Mirumo could be on that Yoshimura swag. He could be some crazy triple S rate that we never knew about, and he's just been lurking low-key this whole time. At most, personally, what I foresee is Master Mirumo being like a double S rate. But it could be some crazy triple S rate ghoul. Who knows? Probably doesn't have a Kakuja because of the consanguineous breeding and the inbreeding of the TSUKIYAMA family. And I believe that's what he was saying, is that they can't actually formulate Kakujas based on how, their actual RC cells work because of the inbreeding. But I still think he's going to be a fucking fiend. I think he's going to go in and it's going to take everything they have to bring this man down. KOORI especially is going to be crucial in this shit. But that's why the man's leading the operation. But anyway, this scene is so fucking... He does exactly what I need to... What did I say last chapter? I was like, Chie or Mirumo needs to get Shuu out of there. They need to sacrifice, especially Mirumo. I was like, he needs to sacrifice himself to save his son, get the man out, because the death flags I see on Shuu as a result of the death flags on the TSUKIYAMA family are too real. What does the man do? What does his father do? Strolls in, hands him some coffee, and it's just so sad, dude. I can only imagine the pain that awaits my best boy, dude. Like, the pain that awaits Shuu is going to utterly destroy me when I see it unfold. After he wakes up, the man knocks him out. Just seeing, he's like, I expected no less of your coffee. I'm not tired at all anymore. And then he just passes out, dude. His father pans him off to Matsuma. He's like, yo, get him out of here. I'll leave him to you. That panel, dude, the seriousness in his face. I'm just like, yes. The man did exactly what he needed. And I'm betting, I'm willing to bet, unless, like I said earlier, potentially Chie is actually allied with somebody else and she's working with, KANOU or something like that, which I seriously doubt that, dude. The only thing that I would that would blow me away and that would be crazy with the KANOU assistant shit, that I know I'm going back to what I was talking about last week, is the crazy out there theory that Hide is actually his assistant. He's been working with him the whole time. But I don't want one of my favorite characters, the only one that I'm truly waiting for aside from Rise to return. I don't want it to be that I can't see that he's been... It just doesn't make sense. He genuinely has to care for Kaneki, no matter what. His friendship with Kaneki has to be genuine. No, even if that reveal happens, it has to be a genuine thing. If it's not, it's gonna fuck with my mind tremendously. But I digress. That's neither here nor there. Seeing Mirumo sacrifice himself, I'm thinking Chie probably tipped them off. If not, Mirumo's just so insightful. He's gonna go in. It's gonna be a fucking beast fight right now. This shit's about to go crazy. I feel it, right? And then you see outside the mansion just the squad rolling in, dude. And here's the one thing, the last thing I really want to know about the chapter, dude. In the middle, you see KOORI walking up and advancing in the front. Out of everybody has the normal steel briefcase. KOORI has a black briefcase, man. KOORI has a black briefcase. Now, this is what the black briefcase means. If you think about when you've seen a black briefcase before for a Quinky carrier, the only things that they contain, and the only people that have them, is Arima, that are the ones that I've seen anyway, that I remember, is Arima with his Ixa and with his Narukami. Also the Arima case, which is not this. I don't think it's this, but it's too far to tell right now. I wouldn't put it past Arima to give it to KOORI, believing in the potential of his successor or some shit like that. But the other black suitcase was the kind of gold-trimmed one that, you know, Elder WASHUU entrusted to Arima based off of the Kaneki Kako, which is probably some crazy, you know, centipede Quinky. I don't know if it's that. Black briefcases, and the only other one that I remember aside from those three is when Amon first got the Arata V2, because that came in the black suitcase as well. So it could either be an Arata, or it could be, at the very least, what a black suitcase to me signifies is that the Quinky is double S rate. At the very least, it's double S rate. So it's going to be a fucking crazy-ass Quinky. If it's the actual black briefcase that was entrusted to Arima and he entrusted it to KOORI, that's going to be even fucking crazier. I don't even know what that'll trigger in Sasaki if you were to see something like that, but I doubt that. All I really think it signifies is that it's a double S-rate Quinky, ultimately, and if it's an Arata suit, that's dope. But I don't think KOORI's the type to rock the Arata suit. I really don't think it. But the squad going in deep, if Mirumo's a beast like I think he is, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be fucking crazy, dude. But that's pretty much it for the chapter, because we get back to this ETO and Kanae greatness, which, oh my god, just fucked in my mind in this last page. But awesome chapter. Really amazing chapter. Like, the hype is real. I just need chapter 46. I need to see shit go down right now, dude. So many questions every fucking time. It's too real. The symbolism, the developments, the pacing, the writing, dude. It's, oh my god. A dethorned rose. Where will its roots reach? But that's pretty much it for this review. I want to talk quickly about Tokyo Ghoul Jail real quick to close out this video, and then, you know, that's pretty much it. So bear with me if you have any interest in jail whatsoever. So really, I don't know about Tokyo Ghoul Jail, and I've talked about it before when it was first announced and everything like that. PS Vita game, dropping in 2 weeks now, like about 2 weeks. It drops on the 1st of October. Only in Japan, you have to import it. I'm going to be importing it because if something's hype, I always import it, dude. I import quite a great deal of games. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to be getting Jail day one. All right. The reason I bring it up now is because there was a PV that was dropped a couple of days ago. PV dropped a couple